German Foreign Minister Johann Wadephul has postponed his trip to China after China has confirmed only one of his requested meetings, highlighting the growing frictions between Europe's and Asia's largest economies over trade and security concerns. The trip, originally scheduled for Sunday, which has been cancelled. A spokesperson for the Foreign Ministry has confirmed it by calling the decision regrettable. It would have marked the first visit to China by a minister from German Chancellor Friedrich Merz's government. The spokesperson has stated that we are postponing the journey to a later time and also highlighted that Germany was concerned about constraints placed on rare earth exports. The only meeting that China had confirmed was with Wadephul's direct counterpart Wang Yi. Since taking office as foreign minister in May, Wadephul has adopted an increasingly hardline position on China, condemning Beijing's backing of Russia's war in Ukraine, its growingly aggressive conduct in the Indo-Pacific, and its export restrictions on rare earths and semiconductors. We're once again joined by Andrew and Dr. Nagao. Andrew, is Wadephul's statements and hardline stance warranted?
Well, all these concerns you rightly mentioned on the part of Germany, of course, very spot on. I mean, but these concerns have long been aired on the German side against China, even before the request for this visit, which came from Germany, because Germany is now trying to recalibrate its relationship with China. Because Germany, like the rest of the European Union, are also suffering from Trump's tariffs stranglehold. And in spite of this traditional, long-established transatlantic alliance, which is now fracturing. So Germany wants to recalibrate the relationship. But why they cancel this trip? And I think that there was also the statement from the German ministry saying that the cancellation is because they couldn't arrange higher level meetings apart from the meeting with Wang Yi, because that's quite possible because the Premier of China, Premier Li Qiang, is currently on visit, I think for Singapore or some ASEAN nations. And of course, Germany wants to send a signal about China's rare earths, stepping up the rare earth control, but I don't think that that's the reason, or even the main reason. I think the main reason could well be that the difficulty of arranging for a higher level visit, but also the advantage of postponing the visit a little bit, just to see what happens between the meeting between President Trump and President Xi. So I think that there is a combination of factors, but there is no doubt that Germany, of course, Germany is not ruled by just this foreign minister alone. It wants to recalibrate its relationship with China. So I don't think that that's a break of intended brokering a more nuanced relationship with China.
Yes, and Dr. Nagao, of course, Beijing, a close ally to Moscow, of course, increasingly concerning behavior in Germany's eyes in the Indo-Pacific. Is Johann Wadephul correct in postponing his visit to China, Dr. Nagao?
In this case, the interesting is China's way of thinking. Originally, China want to avoid to join Russia's aggression to Ukraine or other part of the world. So Russian policy is Russian policy, China's policy is China's policy. But now it looks like China start to think Russia's aggression is to Ukraine is beneficial for China because U.S. need to deal with Europe means that U.S. cannot focusing on China. So now when China restricts exporting rare earths to the other country, view from the time it looks like this is the part of U.S.-China competition, but the reality is China imposed this restriction not only the United States, but also any part of the world, especially including all Western countries. So now China's way of thinking is not only the United States, but also the other Western country is enemy of China. And when the U.S.-China competition is escalating, this means that not only the U.S. but also U.S. allies are following, and all of them are China's threat. Threat for China. China starts thinking. That kind of the group-based thinking China is thinking. So in this case, Russia is friend, and Western allies, Germany, Japan, or other Europe, also the enemy of China. And so that's why this restriction is imposing not only the United States, but also other countries. So this means that this U.S.-China competition is not a bilateral competition. This is a two-polar competition. That view from this, why the German foreign minister postponed to visit China is understandable. Because if this is bilateral issue, there is no problem between Germany and China. But now this is not a bilateral issue. This is indeed two groups issue. And so German, if German government official visit China, this means that one of the delegation of the group, the China will think. And so that's why the message is different. So that's why if China restricts exporting rare earths, not only the United States, but also the Germany or other US allies, of course, U.S. allies also should react as U.S. side countries. That is the current situation people are thinking. So G7 is cooperating, Western countries cooperating, Quad is cooperating, other part of the cooperating. Why? Because this China also think all of these are the one group and threat against China. And so indeed, view from us, China itself is a threat, but view from China, maybe they also think that these are the one group and enemy of China that they start to think.
Yes. Dr. Satoru Nagao, Andrew K.P. Leung, thank you very much for taking the time and speaking to us. We now move on once again, and China's national legislature on Friday voted to designate October the 25th as the commemoration day of Taiwan's restoration. The decision was adopted as the 5-day session of the Standing Committee of the 14th National People's Congress. The state will hold commemorative activities in various forms. China's designation of October the 25th as the commemoration day of Taiwan's restoration marks the date in 1945 when Japan surrendered control of Taiwan to the Republic of China. On that date in 1945, the ceremony for Japan's surrender and withdrawal from Taiwan occurred in Taipei. Taiwan's government has denounced Beijing's designation of the day, calling it an attempt to fabricate the claim that Taiwan belongs to the PRC. This date also marks competing anniversaries. October the 25th also commemorates the Battle of Guning Tao in 1949, where Taiwan-based KMT troops blocked the People's Liberation Army from landing on the offshore island of Kinmen. This is another significant historical event for Taiwan. We now move over to Southeast Asia, where Thailand is in mourning following the death of Her Majesty the Queen Mother Sirikit, the mother of King Maha Vajiralongkorn, at the age of 93. In a statement released by the Royal Household Bureau, officials have confirmed that Queen Mother Sirikit had been hospitalized since September the 7th of 2019 due to several illnesses. She had developed a bloodstream infection before her condition deteriorated. Flags across Thailand were lowered as the nation paid tribute to a beloved royal figure who brought grace, compassion and modern glamour to the monarchy. Born in 1932, Queen Sirikit Kiminchiyakara became Queen Consort in 1950 after marrying Kim Bimjulabo Abdul Yajej, Thailand's longest reigning monarch. Known worldwide for her elegance and style, Queen Sirikit worked with French designer Pierre Balmain to promote Thai silk helping to revitalize a national industry and showcase Thai craftsmanship on the global stage. She had also served briefly as regent in 1956 when King Bhumibol entered a Buddhist monastery